can see that NiP will be starting out on that defensive side, counter-terror side that is, and NaVi, Natus Vincere, will be the aggressors in this instance. Take it away, Pete.
NaVi moving their way out of T-spawn now and pretty quickly towards the B side of things, as we saw an aggressive pistol come out from them last map versus Mouse Sports. But it won't be the case here that it's so aggressive, but Pith opens up with a lovely double there, possibly even a triple for him as Zist quickly backs him up. And this is a great start for NiP, taking out almost four members of NaVi instantly. So great opening sequence there for NiP.
Yeah, you see C's falling back to the moment, almost out of panic, I think, just trying to make sure that perhaps their flank is covered. They will move, or look to move their way towards B in this instance, but with Zeus already so low on HP, you have to think, obviously, it's going to be C's who has to come up monster. Pun definitely intended in that instance as they move towards B.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of hard work here for C's. He picks up that Tech 9, so he does have a hope and a prayer, but it's dwindling by the second here, but he does find Pith through the corner of that wall, so that'll open it up slightly for the NaVi duo left over, but it's going to be Zist finding the head of Zeus there. He'll also trade on to Seized, and that's the business round for NiP. Great start to the match.
Yeah, what I really loved there from an NiP perspective was the way that they almost stepped quite late onto that monster canal in unison. These days it's quite common for the CTs to play very, very passive in the side, almost a retake strategy, or alternatively to go aggressive early on, but they were almost in the middle of both of those where they waited 10 or 15 seconds, then they stepped from either side onto that monster canal and caught NaVi unawares there. Great job. Pith in particular, 2 nice frags.
Yeah, and NaVi of course forced this one up, so they'll have their Tech 9 and Deagle there on Guardian, so he's going to be the one bullet specialist for this round, but the rest of Natus Vincere will grab those Tech 9s and make their way around the map slowly but surely as NiP look to hold on to this force buy with that, just the one M4, but 3 SMGs coming into play.
Yeah, NaVi with a lot of map territory though at the moment, so they've actually done a good job of clearing out Connector, now working their way through toilets and up long, so pincering onto this A bomb site at the moment. You can see Guardian, whilst he doesn't have armor, we know how menacing he can be with that deed. He's had so many highlight clips at the moment. He's just trying to spot them out, but the CTs with those SMGs that you spoke of playing quite passive in the side. They've actually rotated a third member back to A now. Yeah,
and this is going to be a good read here coming in from NiP. They've not heard anything at all from the B side of the map, so they've loaded up quite heavily, and 3 members should be more than enough resistance here with those SMGs, but only time will tell as look at this execute here come in from NaVi. What a well-organized machine they look like, but will it be enough to get them into the site? Flamey opens up onto Forest. Freiburg gets the trade, but Seized immediately gets onto Freiburg there, and now NaVi storm the bomb site, and Edward's in a great position, but Get Right forces that flashbang and finds the head of Edward. Now it's all on Zeus, Seized, and Guardian to defend this bomb plant as Zist and Pith crucially make their way towards the terrorist faction, and Pith here checking every last corner as is exists, but will it be enough? Pith picks up one. Can he pick up a second? He does. Can he pick up a third? The new addition to NiP going absolutely monstrous here, but can he do enough to secure the round? It looks like he will. The defuse will come in from Zist just in time, and great round from Pith.
Yeah, great retake there, 2-on-3. I think they were probably the underdogs in that situation, given the fact that NaVi had the opportunity to position themselves. What I really did like, though, is that NaVi, in this tournament in particular, and of late, they're really looking like a well-oiled team at the moment. I love the fact that their star player in that instance, Guardian, you saw him actually sacrificing armor so that he could purchase nades.
Yep.
Sacrificing his own game for the better of the team. And great nades they were. They got them into that A-bomb site, got that plant down, and couldn't quite convert, though.
Yeah, but look at this buy coming out from NaVi. Not a single flash, smoke, or grenade will be found on any of the NaVi players. They've gone for 5 Galils, 5 sets of armor, and a whole lot of positive thinking in this round as they'll try and open this one up. They've taken mid-control, and they'll mosey on through to A before Freiburg manages to spot out Guardian, and Forrest gets Edward caught unawares as well, and Forrest looks to double up there, but Flamey's equal to the task and takes down the NiP star player. And now it's a 4 versus 3. Still in favour of NiP, but Freiburg's on limited health, and they're looking towards this A-bomb site.
Well, that's right. He needs to be really careful here because he's almost caught in a world of pain where he can't step out too long. He can't step out towards the toilet. So perhaps if Zeus can spot him out, this could actually signal the end of this, I guess, his hopes in this round, as they do actually take him down now and pounce onto that A side. You can see how close they were. So not enough time for that CT rotation to come in. All up to be a get right, I should say, at the CT ramp to hold strong. He does manage to find one in the end, but the trades coming in down are favouring NiP in this instance. Flamey now caught off guard as Exist with the flank does a fantastic job of taking him down. NiP doing a good job there.
Yeah, but once again, NaVi have managed to get 3 kills there onto the counter-terrorists, which means in terms of their economy, they're going to be still short-changed by the time everything's come in here in terms of the buy. Only Zist and Thrive with any sort of cash remaining after this buy. So NaVi choose to keep the pressure on. They buy just a couple of pistols with the smokes and flashes needed to do probably some sort of site execute like they had attempted in the previous round.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a concession though. I mean, they don't have any armor. I think they recognise the fact that they need to bolster that economy. You want to get an AWP into the hands of Guardian, don't you? So I think this round potentially just want to make something of it with their strong pistol players. Edward in particular is a name that comes to mind, and I think they're realistically, they're probably looking forward to getting some proper guns in hand.
Well, they're probably looking forward to it, but they definitely haven't ruled themselves out of this one yet. All of these players so sharp with those pistols, and of course in CSGO the pistols have more power than they used to, enabling players with very good aim to be super effective in these economical rounds and do a lot of damage to the other team's economy at absolute worst. So NiP are going to have to make sure that not only do they win this round, but they're going to have to win as cleanly as humanly possible, because NaVi will definitely snowball their economy later if they can get there.
They're doing a good job at the moment, though. They're putting a lot of pressure here on NaVi, so you can see NaVi really haven't advanced too far. In fact, they're almost retreating if you look at the overlays. So whilst the time ticks away, NiP in a really strong position here. They still have some nades in hand to hold off any late bomb site attack.
But they should, NiP should be aware by now this is going to be another A bomb site hit. And the non-rotates from B are very wary for me, because the alarm bells should be ringing as Flamey takes out Freiburg immediately, and now the T's find their way onto the A bomb site. Guardian gets taken down through the edge of the smoke there by Get Right. Now the plant will come in, and they'll try and get a few spam kills through the smoke, and Forrest will be successful in that endeavor. Pith picking up 1, no 2 onto Seized and Zeus before Forrest eventually finishes off Edward, gets the defuse, and good round there for NiP, only losing 2 members.
This is a fantastic start for NiP. I mean, scoreline aside, NaVi have a reputation for being a team that when they're on their terror side, they're so effective at controlling the economy of the game. And by that I mean limiting what the CTs can buy, really forcing them onto repetitive ecos. They're great bankers is what I'm trying to suggest.
Yep.
They've done economics degrees, they've done everything to possibly ask, so this is great that NiP have got off to this hot start. They're now the ones in the driving seat. And
I'm glad to see that NiP have opted away from that AWP. I don't think that anyone on the roster of NiP is equipped to take on Guardian, so it's just sort of a waste of money at this point in the game, especially when you're 4 up using rifles. So good trend to be continued there for NiP, but at the moment you can see how patient NaVi are being, and this is a very much a trademark of their game. The patience on the T side and their ability to set up rounds and find information out about their opposition where they are, as once again Guardian starts off the round with a pick there onto Pith.
Fantastic. Guardian had such a fantastic, I guess, 2015 when you look at his opening frags. Very aggressive with that when he needs to be, and always puts his team in a fantastic position to succeed. I think he was the most impactful player towards his team's success in 2015. I like the fact that NaVi now off the back of getting that frag, they're not rushing it. They do have a lot of map territory towards B, but it's almost forced NiP to try and make something of this round. Down a man, and Forrest, you can see in this instance, pushing up towards the connector. He will catch one member off guard there, so good job taking down Guardian. Edward follows suit as well, so NiP have recovered this. They now have that man advantage.
Yeah, but that man advantage will be erased there. Seized and Flamey going to work on Zist and Get Right now, so it's a 2 versus 2, and this is unraveling pretty quickly for NiP. They're in a fantastic position, but Flamey will get the bomb down there, and he's got a good chunk of health as well as Zeus, so they're going to get into decent post-plan positions here. Flamey just looking up the top, and he will spot one out. Can he find the headshot? He does in definitely Flamey fashion there, taking out the head of Freiburg over the top of the wall. It will be Zeus onto Forrest after that boost came in. Obviously, they knew both CTs were there, and the positions were played perfectly. NaVi register their first round on the board 4-1.
Really surprising for me to see that almost NaVi caught those two CTs in the B side unprepared. When Forest and Frybird pushed those toilets today, they did exactly what they wanted to. They caught the terrorist members off guard, and they forced the head of NaVi, funneling them into the B side. Their teammates should have been better prepared for that eventual attack there. Good work, though. I think credit must be given where it's due. NaVi closing in at that 2-on-2, and a much-needed round for them. They have still got that AWP in Guardian's hands, and that's a crucial aspect of their gameplay.
Yeah, and you can see just how close the NiP players were to having their economy crumbled, as now, after losing only one round, they're forced onto I guess you could call it a hybrid round, where they got 4 pistols and armor and just the one rifle in the
YOLO?
hands. Sis. And that will be Zis picking up that M4 just all by himself, and Guardian picking up the first kill of the round. Now NaVi, once again, their trademark style coming to fruition, slowly working down the clock and getting as much map territory and information as they can before they make their decision.
I love this from Zeus at the moment. He's really taking charge as he moves around the map, just making sure that the connector is all safe, under control. You saw that on the previous match on Cobblestone when they're up against Mouse Sports, where Zeus was one of the first into the side and really, really aggressive in his play. I think that he's been burdened that responsibility of IGL, and I think he's flourishing now with his rifle skills. You can see Flamey moving towards the A side again. They're definitely preferring this side despite having success at B last round.
Yeah, it's going to be that A site pressure coming along, but it will be at the NaVi pace, which is, needless to say, a snail's pace. But Flamey will open that one onto Forest, and will it give Get Right enough time to get back into the site? I don't think it will. Great pressure there from Zeus, just tapping away at that wall and now throwing that Molotov to lock NiP out of A, and this is going to be a very cumbersome task for NiP to try and get back in this A-bomb side.
Yeah, I think it's mission impossible. You can see that 2 CT members have already surrendered their fate this round, as they have already backed off towards T-Spawn, Exist, and Pith in that instance. I think Get Right will soon follow suit. He has a little bit less to worry about in the sense that he only has a CZ. We'll definitely want to save that armor, though, and the kit for next round, but perhaps just lingering out a little bit longer just to see if perhaps any terrorists were willing to charge through City Spawn. Bloodlusting perhaps looking for that frag, but as it is, NaVi doing a good job there of closing out that round. That's 2 in a row. I think we'll now see NiP perhaps in a tricky situation where they've got a few members with guns, but the rest of their team struggling to even throw it into any scraps of Skrilla.
Well, I don't think they're in any sort of position at all to force the issue here, as Zeus and Flamey actually find Get Right and Pith, so any strange semblance of a buy that was going to come in has been destroyed.
Well, that's massive, though, those last 2 kills in that regard, because that was 2 players that had armor that we spoke of. Yes, it was only pistols, but they had armor, I think they had utility, they had kits. That might have perhaps tilted them over that edge if they were tossing up in their mind. Now it's definitely a case of, let's just keep that rifle in the hands of, I think, that one surviving member in the form of Exist. Everyone else, hard eco.
Yeah, and they won't buy any resources at all. It'll be just Exist leaving his spawn area with anything but a default pistol. And once again, NaVi just cruising into their T-side default, not really keen at all to push the tempo. They're just pretty content with waiting around and seeing what NiP will throw their way, as is the true NaVi style of play.
I like this, though. I think for me, the longer these rounds are drawn out, as we see even in this instance, I mean, 1:10 left on the clock, NaVi really still no sense of urgency at the moment. I think this suits their game plan. This is exactly the style that they want to be playing. They're in no rush. I think it also can be quite frustrating for a team that's on the losing end of rounds, not necessarily the scoreline itself at the moment, but of rounds. When you are losing to a team playing this slow, it can be quite frustrating. Sometimes you almost have that urge, just want to frag and, I guess, have some action come your way, but NaVi, they don't give their opponents that opportunity.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the world at keeping player numbers in their advantage. And once again, Edward will open up onto Forest there. Now Zeus, look at the positioning here. Edward picks up yet another kill. And it will be just Get Right left here. Picks up the first one. Can he get the second? He can't. But the waiting game was well and truly won there by NaVi, as eventually NiP thought to themselves they had an opening. They pushed out and were just fiercely punished by the NaVi defense.
And quite fittingly, given the context of this match, we actually saw Zeus there bursting the bubble in the party, much like bursting the hopes of NiP as this match progresses. They now find themselves 3-4, they trail, but crucially, they've won the last 3 rounds. You can see again, NiP investing everything they have into this round. They've spent all of their money. It's meant that they've got 5 rifles, and you look across the board, only 1 defuse kit as well, so it's important for their sake that they stop the T's getting entrance into the site. Seized already with aggression that we haven't seen from him so far this match. Does spot out 1 member there in the B side, and Good use of the nade just to scare him off, but he will not slow down that pace.
Yeah, but look at the structure that NaVi's employing here. Such aggression in different parts of the map, and they change it up, and they're so versatile with the approach that they take to their offense on T side. You've got C's pushing the short area, clearing that one out for Guardian so he can do what he's doing now. You've got Zeus clearing out that stair area so that he knows that mid's under control. And then you've got such discipline being showed on the other side of the map towards A, where they're holding the push from well back on the map. So such versatility, and it's so hard to make a read as NiP.
Well, that's the end result, isn't it, from a CT perspective right now? They don't know what's going on because they've got players all over the map feeding themselves different information to their teammate. They're not sure if they need to rotate or not. I mean, you spoke about the fact that Overpass allows for quick rotations, but when you're not sure which way the attack's coming in, what good is that? You can see at the moment, though, NaVi looked as though they're setting up for a B attack here. Something different from them. I like this.
Yeah, the gunfire is ringing out, but no real damage coming out just yet. It'll be NaVi exploiting this B bomb site. The flashes, the smokes, the Molotovs rain in over the walls, and C's will find out one, but he won't be able to take him down. Flamey will put the work in onto Get right there, pick up a kill as well as a double onto Pith before Zist and Forest trade back on. So we're stuck in a 2 versus 3 here, and Zist needed that kill to really close out the round, but as it stands, a 2 versus 2 here, and most importantly, Guardian still up with that AWP looking menacing.
Well, the bomb has now been planted. Guardian, the man that you spoke of, does connect there onto Freiburg in this 2-on-2, and with the fire coming in from Forest at Sandbags, they now know his position, the last surviving member. He will push his way through the smoke now. The game is up, but he's not quite sure where to look at the moment. You can see this smart positioning from the terrorists here, creating multiple angles of attack for him to be concerned about, and he does have one utility grenade. He will throw that now towards the pit again. He's really uncertain at the moment. Guardian feasting on that uncertainty. Great double frag. Great work by NaVi. Again, closing out another close round. 4-all, they've drawn level.
They've drawn level, and I think they're about to pull ahead as NiP look to rebuild their economy once again. I don't even think they're committing anything to this buy at all. It could possibly be just the one flash. No, we've got a couple of pistols coming out, but no armor at all. So Deagles, 5.7, CZs, and just a grenade there. The
scary thing for me, though, when you look at those close rounds, because I think that's actually two versus two situations we've seen NaVi pull through in now, is that they actually seem really, really calm and poised in their play, despite the fact that so much is on the line in this competition. Obviously, they're playing at the Spodek Arena in Poland, an incredible opportunity. This match means so much. Their tournament lives are on the line, but they don't even look worried.
No, NaVi look so cool, calm, and collected on their T-side overpass. And just, I guess this is the reward for preparation. You can only look this comfortable on a map if you know every square inch of the map and what everyone's supposed to be doing at every given time, and this is a reward for consistency and effort here for NaVi as they just completely overrun the NiP defense. But given that the NiP players only had pistols and no armor, this was something to be expected.
Well, we said it was one of NaVi's best maps, and the fact that they'd certainly feel comfortable on this match, and I think this is proving to be the case at the moment. Again, they've had so much success this round. There's only 2 cities left to contend with. Guardian recognises the fact they are quite close. He does drop his Zest, does spot out the head there, but can't quite connect. But the game is up for Get right now. He has 4 Ts menacing. I guess drooling at the prospect of taking him down. The bomb is now planted, and Get right, I think the gentleman's agreement backs away.
He will back away, but Seized will launch into that bank area and try and find him before the round is over. They're pretty keen on getting that pistol out of his hands.
It's ironic to me the fact that NaVi have complete control of the bank area of the map at the moment. And in the game.
That's true. You could say they seized control of the bank.
An accurate description.
An accurate description of the gameplay. Not only from a pun perspective, but also from a gameplay point of view.
Sumptuous wordplay there from my codecaster. The blunder from down under. But as NaVi now pull ahead, 5-4. He's been getting so much praise all day. I had to keep things level, keep you in check. But no, they're looking really strong at the moment here. What do you think from an NiP perspective they need to do to mix things up, because they've now lost 5 rounds in a row?
Well, I think at least they're entertaining the idea now that Forest needs to take on Guardian with that AWP. So I like this move from NiP, that they've tried the whole let's rifle against the AWP and see if it works, but Guardians just had that little too much freedom for my liking. So great work there by NiP. Good read from Threat coming out there, forcing that AWP onto Forest. Whether or not that'll be successful is a whole other question, but at least the intent is there from NiP to change things up and try and change the dynamic of what's happening on their side.
You can see from NaVi, though, I mean, they're perfectly comfortable with the way that this match is actually unfolding at the moment. Again, this slow, steady, methodical play. I mean, a slight difference there this round. You actually saw two members, Flamey and one of his teammates, actually taking control of Connector from the top of the stairs as opposed to previous rounds where they'd actually been led by Zeus through the bottom of the stairwell. So it's those subtle changes in their gameplay that are really holding them in good stead at the moment. You can see they've done a lot of damage onto Pith. He has got the frag, though, crucially, and Freiburg also gets one. NiP looking strong now off the back of perhaps that confidence with the AWP in hand.
Yeah, I don't think Forest has even fired it off yet, so I'm not sure that Navi even know that there is an AWP in play on the CT side of things, but Forest nonetheless will be proned there, looking straight down the line of the toilet area. Edward trying to find a kill in A, but is looking to no avail at the moment. But this is definitely a round that's in control for NiP, and all they need to do now is dot their I's, cross their T's, and make sure the teamwork is there. And importantly, they don't lose the AWP or they don't lose too many guns. This is just as important.
Well, what they've got is they've actually got 3 members on that A site, so they're well prepared here as NaVi do move in. Freiburg then converts onto Edward. Guardian taking a little, I guess, a few love taps there through the smoke. Has put it down to 59 HP. He's the last surviving member now and pulls out the pistol. Does take down Freiburg. Time running low. He has the bomb in hand, but he needs that frag. Doesn't quite connect. That could have been magical had he done so, but you can see the fast rotation in any case would have put so much pressure on him despite potentially having got that frag. But it's all to no avail. NiP get their first round win in what feels like a lifetime. 5-all.
5-all, and 3 members surviving there for NiP, so the money won't completely tilt off in the wrong direction for them. They'll be put in a position where at least 3 of their players can afford to buy again next round, regardless of the outcome of this round. But you can see the NaVi players with a similar situation in their economy after losing that one. Guardian still with that AWP in hand, and he's going to look to force the issue, but Forrest not backing down from the challenge. He's still got that scope in play, and he's looking to put some pressure on the NaVi guys.
Well, the difference between this round and last round, from a NaVi perspective, is that they recognise now that Forest has that AWP. Last round there was that uncertainty. Now they're, I think, perhaps a little bit more respectful of the threat that can pose. They're taking a little bit more time, if you can imagine so, as they now try and clear their way through the A fountain. Now moving their way up long as well. We said that Overpass was the map that really allowed the CTs with that AWP, that versatility of mixing up their position. You can see Forest now using a different angle that he hasn't used already in this match, but great teamwork there that we spoke of as NaVi do a good job of using their utility. They flush him out and Guardian converts, getting that opening frag. Great work there by the star player.
Yeah, it was the flash that really set that whole play up. It dislodged Forrest from his holding position there, and he had to readjust his line, and that's all that Guardian needed to make him pay for that one. But Pith will even up the ledger there, so C is going down on the B side of the map, and now NaVi will just, once again, slowly etch their way towards one of these bomb sites. It looks as though it's going to be A, but the bomb curiously is making its way towards B, so good fake here on the cards for NaVi, and after all the pressure they've put on A, it's likely that NiP will bite on this one pretty hard.
Well, that's right. You can see at the moment Edward and co trying to sell a fake, but Pith not falling for it at all as he goes, I guess, connecting onto the head of Guardian. Exist will follow suit as well onto Zeus, and the game is now up, even if frags go the way of NaVi in this instance, which they're not on the A bomb site. The bomb is now down at B. There's no way that Flamer can hope to win this round. Perhaps saving the AWP might be the objective in this case, but with limited time, limited HP, the CT's going to be hot on his heels, and worst case scenario here is that he actually loses that AWP after the round time. He won't actually get any money moving to the next round, and that's the case, so great frag there by Freiburg. If we look at the money at the moment, Flamey with only $750 next to his name. That's ever so crucial given the context. It's going to force his teammates such as Zeus to, I guess, share their wealth. You can see Zeus is dropping that gun right now, but hurting the overall economy of NaVi.
Definitely Flamey there in a spot of bother, as he'll only have $750 to make this next round work, but nonetheless he's bought small armor and been dropped an AK, so that's more than a serviceable round here for Flamey, and not too much concern there from NaVi, I'm guessing, with at least 3 smokes and 3 Molotovs still in play and usable for their team. It sure doesn't warrant too much concern for NiP at the moment because they're holding so far back, but late round at least they have something to work with.
The concerning point though from an NiP perspective is the fact that they've actually, I think, over the entirety of the half, when you look at it, I guess from an outside perspective, quite objectively, I think NaVi have been the better team. And yet they now only find themselves down 5-6. So despite all that success and all that strength, I think NiP winning the pistol round in the first gun round allowed them to put up so much of a bank and that early lead that the, I guess, later success of NaVi has almost been erased by that early buffer.
That's exactly right, but as it stands here, Forrest will still just leave himself prone towards that A-long area, and he spots one of the terrorist heads just popping up over that wall. So Freiburg in a fantastic position here to make a play. And it's going to be off the back of a Forest peak there, but he's just acting as a distraction. Guardian is unaware, but Freiburg just firing off a single bullet there and giving his position up. But Guardian, the movement was impressive there on and off that brick, but Freiburg will get one before he's taken down by Flamey, and now Edward progresses onto that site, taking down Get Right, and all of a sudden the A-bomb site's looking like an open target here for Na'Vi. They're strolling in, and it will be Guardian, the Star Orpa, trying to get that frag to open up, but Flamey does the business anyway, picking up Pith, and now Forest trades back and gets the bomb down. Zist, no idea what that plan was coming out from Flamey, and now Guardian stuck in a 2 versus 1. With 3 seconds to go, he'll get taken down. And question marks over that plant from Flamey.
Oh, that was a horrible decision. I think that just reeked of the fact that the time was running down. I think that pressure mounting to get that bomb planted was almost a situation of necessity, just trying to get it down an ASAP without necessarily having the opportunity to think everything through and recognise that perhaps planning behind the box, behind the obstacle, would have been a better situation. Obviously, the plan in that instance, Flamey, wasn't to know that there wasn't a flanking CT member. Planning in that default spot potentially would have left him vulnerable to such a flank. So, I mean, you're caught between a rock and a hard place with so much pressure there in that instance with the time running low.
That's true, and as all of those smokes expire, it's really hard to tell if there's people lurking behind the smokes and all that sort of stuff. So I guess Flamey gets a bit of a pass there, but it was an awkward plant from our perspective because we did see the action unfolding in front of us, and you would prefer him to plant behind something just to get himself some cover, but as you said, the time was such an issue there for him.
The other thing to note as well is he doesn't actually know when the smokes were laid down in terms of the exact timing. He doesn't know potentially how far into the lifespan of those smokes he was. So it just so happened that when he started to commit to the plant, the smokes dissipated and he was wrecked entirely. But you can see Na'Vi, they force bought into this round. Zeus has that AK and he's leading the charge. We said he did this earlier on tonight. Now he's doing it again.
And he's taken so much control of short here, and he'll pick up a kill onto Pith. And I was going to say even ledger up, but Flamey still lives. He's on 2 HP and just surviving by the skin of his teeth. And Get Right will find Zeus and open this one up for Ninjas in Pyjamas as they look to push forward on their CT side of Overpass. They've actually looked better than I thought they would, admittedly, and now they look to consolidate this one as Zist picks up C's. Flamey trades onto Freiburg with only 2 points of health, and now it looks as though the A-bomb site's overrun, but Forest still anchoring on that side. The plant will come in from Guardian as Forest rotates around to the back of the bank area. Edward and Guardian set up a crossfire here, and Forest and Zist are going to have to retake this one.
That's right, you can see Forest at the moment. He's just scouting out. He has that AWP in hand. Guardian just biding his time behind the truck. Forest aware of that threat though, and he is, and he's trying actively to flush him out. Guardian actually stepping, actually not in the flames, so that was his own voluntary decision in that instance. He actually converts the frag, and Edward gets the second. Great team play again from the Na'Vi members, converting another close round, that 2-on-2 situation. And risky play by Guardian. He didn't need to step, that Molotov actually landing quite far behind him. He actually had the cover still of that truck, but went the aggressor, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, definitely. The pick and pop approach there from Na'Vi in terms of that clutch, just picking out from different angles, constant motion there, so NiP couldn't get a good lock on what was about to unfold in front of them, and consequently, Guardian catching both those members off guard, and now Freiburg absolutely gets hammered by a few grenades. He's down to just 28 points of health already in the round, and he's got a nice advanced position here, and he will catch one off guard. Edward being absolutely sacked there by the pistol of Freiburg, and great start to the round by NiP, and with Forest on that AWP, Zist with the rifle as well as Pith, this is a very winnable and workable round for NiP.
Yeah, really sick headshot there from Freiburg coming in. He was quite low on HP like you did point out, but connected when he needed to. I think recognising the fact that Navi were giving up so much early map territory that he was able to get in such an advanced position and did catch Edward off guard in that instance. You can see actually the rest of NiP almost in a similar vein, trying to use a few quirky spots and angles to their advantage. Forest, he'll be the main man to watch with that AWP in hand. You can see he's actually the only member in A at the moment, locking down that bomb site, and perhaps there's a challenge on his hands as Na'Vi, at least with 3 of their teammates do head that way. Freiburg actually getting his second for the round, so fantastic work there from the old school NiP player.
Yeah, but Guardian's making his way into A with this AWP, and this never bodes well, but Forest picks him up there. Great AWP shot there by the Swedish star player, and he'll just look to defend that side as Zist goes down, and the Na'Vi players look to get the bomb planted, but Forest ever lurking there. The presence is being felt strongly by the NaVi players. Now Zeus tries to get away from the plant spot. He has been successful, but not before Flamey gets AWP'd by Forest, and Forest will actually pick up the tray, gets 3 AWP kills for the round, shuts down that A bomb site hit by himself. So great individual play there from Forest, and an NiP will move on to 8 rounds in this half.
Fantastic work there from NiP. I mean, we pointed out the fact that Forest was the actual sole surviving member in that A side and needed to come up clutch and did for his team. I think if we take a quick look at the scoreboard, I think that that's potentially the first time this match in which the team's momentum has been halted instantly. You can see the actual streak of rounds. NiP started off so strong, then it was NaVi, then it was NiP, but NiP doing a great job there of bouncing back instantly, getting back on winning ways, and now look for that 9-6 first half lead. You can see that they do have that AWP still in the hands of Forest. Guardian can afford to buy one. His course has to go without utility, but moves towards speed, gets the tag on to exist, but can't connect onto the chest area there, so he'll have to make do with tagging him down.
Yeah, he clipped him through the top of the oil crate there, and Zis goes down to 41 HP, but as it stands, it will be still 5 versus 5 here with about 25 seconds gone in the round. Look at the aggressive positioning here for Forest. He's lurking all the way up on that side of the map with the AWP, and this is what NiP have been lacking a little bit, just that punch that an AWP can provide on the aggressive side of things, and Forest has been spotted out there, and instead of taking that risky duel, he's chosen to fall back and fortify that A bomb site where he had so much success last round. But for the looks of things, with a minute to go, NaVi going to head towards the A bomb site.
It looks as though, from an NiP perspective, though, that they're a lot more in control and a lot calmer now. I think earlier on, a little bit caught off guard by the style that NaVi were bringing, and there's really no reason to. NaVi always seem to play this way, very slow and methodical, but you can see now it's NiP who are being the aggressors there. In that instance, it was Forest pushing up long, then falling back. They're changing up their play. I like the versatility. You can see, though, that as NaVi move towards his A site, they have caught Forest off guard. Freiburg needs to go huge.
Freiburg needs to go absolutely massive here as he moves his way back towards the bank truck, but he will get one before NiP Get Right also picks up a kill. Flamey there onto Exist, and now Zeus will pick up Get Right. So Freiburg, the original member of NiP, whose job it was to hold that site, will still be there at the end. Flamey and Edward finishing that one off nicely onto Pyth and Freiburg. That ends the half 8-7, as even as you could just about get it. But ultimately there, NaVi looks as though they've just edged a little bit ahead of NiP in this game.
Well, I think you're right. In terms of the play that we've seen, I think NaVi probably played the better Counter-Strike. But what I'd say is I'd throw it out there that I think NiP are probably happier at the half because they've actually been in the match and shown that they can compete. I think off the back of some of their shaky performances so far, maybe there was that question mark themselves coming into this match, but no, we saw at different points in that half. Obviously, the first 4 rounds, NiP strung those rounds together. Towards the latter stages of that half, I love the aggression and versatility that came out from NiP. So I think they'll actually be quietly confident with their play at the moment.
Yeah, and we talk often on our casts about kill disparity.
Yes.
And what that means for your team moving forward. And you can see NaVi there, Flamey on 17 kills, and no one breaching double figures for the rest of NaVi, whilst NiP, every player in double figures. So an even spread across the board there for NiP. They look good, they look consistent on every player, whereas NaVi relying heavily on Flamey for the output.
Yeah, Flamey, I mean, it's such a fantastic story when you look at him. Obviously, he's producing in this match, but has been over the course of the last year. Struggled initially with consistency, but now really he has elevated his gameplay. I mean, considered and ranked the 14th best player last year by HLTV.org. An explosive young player, only 18 years of old. A fun fact is that of the top 5 teams currently in the world, Flamey is the youngest player amongst those teams. So much upskill and potential still in this player. Really looking forward to seeing how he develops and matures.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how young players are able to adapt so quickly to essentially a man's game. And obviously, in computer gaming perspective, it's weird to say a man's game because you often associate, well, a lot of people outside of esports would associate computer games with, I guess, a younger audience. But on the competitive side of things, on the pro scene, on the pro circuit, being a teenager and playing at this level is just almost unheard of.
Well, it's not just that. One of the, I guess, facets of his game that I love the most is that he's actually a fantastic clutch player. If you look back at last year, he actually had in the pro scene the 2nd most clutches in the entire world last year. I think only finished just behind, I think it might have been, the name eludes me in any instance now, but my point being, for such a young player, with not as much experience as his opposition, he's still very level-headed, very calm and mature, and has that ability to stay calm and close out rounds, which is a fantastic attribute as a young player.
Absolutely, and he would have done nothing but learn from the best. Starix, Edward, Seized, players like this, Zeus of course, Guardian himself, all these players with so much experience that they're willing to share with Flamey. Now, the pistol round is going to be huge for both of these teams. 8-7 locked as even as you could possibly get it, but it looks as though NaVi have completely given up the B bomb site, and it's only Seized here with a pistol from, I guess, longish range that'll be left to defend, and NiP have made their way all the way in, and this looks like a counter strat to me.
This is insane to watch.
This looks like a counter strat. They know exactly where the NaVi players are holding, and they've dodged all the way up to the B corridors, and now the pressure comes on, but C's able to pick up one. He gets a second Guardian, doubles up as well, and now Zeus is left all by himself in that area, but C's picks up a triple. All 5 members of NiP go down in spectacular fashion.
Oh, monumental play there from Seas. That's an incredible individual display. Like you said, it reeked to me of a counter strat in that instance. I think that was perhaps Threat showing his ability to recognise tendencies in opposition, and NiP crawling into that bomb site only to almost catch Seized off guard next to the graffiti area, but he converted with those frags at close range. Great individual play, and that's exactly what you need in these big match situations.
And I was willing to write off the first pistol round we saw from NiP as just coincidence, but after seeing that second one, it's clear. And also, leaving Overpass in the map pool, it's clear to me that Threat has put in some counter-stratting work against NaVi for this particular matchup. This is what they've prepared for.
And I guess by that same virtue, perhaps NaVi not expecting to play this map because it's widely recognised as one of their strengths. So perhaps in this instance, Threat and NiP trying to catch NaVi off guard by, I guess, their willingness to play it due to the homework they put in. You can see that NiP are on an eco round. They do have just P250, so perhaps looking for a surprise third round buy or even a fourth round buy. But this round, it's not going to be much use to them. They lose all 5 members. NaVi pull ahead again.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you buy 5 rifles on NaVi's side of things. They fully expected the Force Buy to come in, so they were prepared for the rifles, and now, obviously, the terrorists can afford to buy. NiP getting their AK on, but NaVi are well equipped to deal with it. So they've got 5 rifles themselves, and we're seeing the first gun round of the game come out after only the 3rd round of the half, which is fantastic to see all the players in the game with a rifle, but you can see the utility there on the NaVi side of things far greater.
Yeah, I actually like the fact though that Get Right in particular actually lining up those smokes. So clearly NiP moving into this round with a clear strategy and structure in their mind. Obviously they've played this map a little bit recently in the ESL ECA Pro League, so they've had some experience on Overpass. You can see though that they've only got 1 remaining smoke in the hands, or the backpack rather, of Pit. The remaining 4 members of NiP just have a single flash to speak of, so it's going to be their aim that needs to open up these bomb sites more so than their utility.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of struggling what NiP are going to do with just 1 smoke. Why so many AKs and not enough Galils or Tech 9s? There's so many other weapons that have such a high impact in this game that you don't need all of those rifles in play.
Well, to put it in perspective, we saw in the first half, Guardian sacrificing the weaponry to get the utility grenades. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I guess it just screams for me of the more individualistic style of the NiP still in effect, so perhaps they haven't quite bought into the Threat system just yet, but that being said, they'll try their hardest to get into this B-bomb site by the looks of things. They're loading up pretty heavily, but NaVi seem to have this one covered as well. The smokes and flashes won't do any good as there's only 1 smoke, and it's still in the hands of Piss. So he's actually gone down with that smoke in hand, so not too sure what's going on with the utility on NiP there, but now Forest will go down to be left up to a 2 versus 3 with Zist and Get Right, but they combine a 1-2 punch there, taking down Seized and Guardian. Will all be left up to just Zeus to try and make this one go into the victory column for NaVi. And you can see how well that Zist was juking that box, and now the master himself, Get Right, left in a clutch position against Zeus, and Zeus has a pretty good idea of where he is, and oh, very, very close. Get Right timing is of the essence there. The beautiful timing on the repeak has allowed him to take down Zeus after being spotted out. So Get Right isn't finished just yet. He absolutely still has that power in his step. and NiP pull even 9-9.
Yeah, right, putting on an absolute masterclass in that instance with the fantastic timing there with his picks, taking down Zeus. That could have easily gone the other way. You saw that Zeus almost had that opportunity to get his crosshair onto Get Right, but couldn't quite convert, and Get Right punishing him as a result. But I mean, we spoke in pre-game about sometimes you just need your stars, Get Right and Forest, to step up and go huge to win you rounds. That's what we saw in that instance. That was a 2 versus 3 with really so much pressure on them in that B side. As Flamey does a nice little pop flash there, which I think he whiffs a little bit because it doesn't quite go out far enough. But in that instance, it was the individual skills of their players that won them that round.
And it will always be that way for NiP. I just feel as though Forest and Get Right thrive in that style of play where the play breaks down and it's quite open and there's a lot of opportunity to make plays and to get a lot of kills. I think that's the kind of gameplay that suits them, but Threat obviously has different ideas, and hopefully they can find the perfect blend of the two moving forward.
You can see at the moment, with 1 minute left on the clock, NiP almost doing their best NaVi impression. That's what we spoke about as well in the pre-game. They're taking their time at the moment, but I feel a lot more confident watching NaVi play this way than NiP. You can see, whilst they do have 4 AKs in hand and a Tech 9 in the hands of Freiburg, the CTs themselves are well prepared to defend against any sort of attack. And at the moment, I like the fact that NaVi actually rotating a third member back towards this A site, so anticipating this A attack well. And as Guardian spots out one along, that'll only serve to confirm that in his mind that an attack is coming their way.
Yeah, but Zeus, the positioning here is crucial. He dodges the flash, or does he? Freiburg takes down Zeus, and now Pith trades onto Edward. Sees manages to get one, but Get Right will get onto Guardian ever so quickly. And now it's a 4 versus 2. But look at the HPs on NiP. This is so close. Sees just needs to find one little opening, but it will be Forest picking up one, and now Get Right trading out Flamey. So NiP looking the goods, and I gotta be honest, they look prepared to play NaVi on overpass. I'm not sure how big their map pool is yet. I'm not sure how much strategy Threats run through in their whole map pool, but all I know is Threats got them prepared to play NaVi on overpass.
That is a massive statement. We've said that NaVi are one of the best teams in the world on this map, so full credit at the moment has to go to NiP. They're closing out these tight rounds, and as a result, NaVi's economy is on the brink at the moment. They're on an eco this round. Only a few players have invested into pistols, I think off the back of having a little bit more money to play with, but you can see them actually pushing towards A, trying to force the issue in. It's worked. They've caught Pith off guard there, so the young talent in the team caught unawares, and I think his teammates now left scrambling, trying to make something of this round, but Forest restores some order. He has got one frag onto Zeus and looking to convert a second. Hasn't done so as NaVi do scramble away back towards that A bomb site, but it's worked in the sense that they've got one gun for themselves. Can they put it to good use now, though? They're running out of teammates.
Yeah, I think Edward would look to save this one as he backs towards A, and you can see NiP pretty keen on the whole idea of the B bomb site, so they're going to make their way back through T-spawn ever so slowly. C's in a good position here, but it's probably not going to event too much as he gets one, but will be traded out by Forest almost immediately after picking up Freiburg, and now all of a sudden NiP not so keen on the B bomb site, so they're going to slow it back down and try and move towards A again.
This is okay, though, from an NiP perspective. The fact that they've been a little bit indecisive now is fine as long as they stay calm, stay collected. They've got the man advantage 3-on-2. You can actually see on the overlay that it was Edward that was actually posted up in that B site. So off the back of C's getting that good read, the terrorists were headed that way. It obviously rotated towards B. So from an NiP perspective, this is actually better now that they are heading back to A. It's only, I think it is Guardian there in the A side, and he just has one measly pistol, limited HE to speak of, and he'll be begging for support as the terrorists now burst onto his side. They drop him with ease, and Edward now has an AK, but not much he can do with it as he's locked out of the site.
Yeah, he's going to get taken out by Get Right immediately there. I think he thought that smoke was a flashbang, so he just turned ever so slightly, but that was enough for Get Right to get the jump on him, and he takes him down. But surprise packet here from NiP. They look like they are in great form. Forest picking up that AWP, and surprise, surprise, NiP are 11-9 up, and Forest and Get Right are putting in the heavy lifting here for their team, and Flamey all up there by himself with the top number of kills for NaVi, but certainly NiP dictating the pace at the moment.
Well, that's right. Whilst those two are on top, it doesn't feel as though it's their hard carry at the moment that's sending them across the line. I think it's more so the fact that NiP look really well prepared. They're playing a complete game at the moment, and despite some early signs of worry there, as NaVi got on a bit of a roll on their terrorist half, NiP have responded really well. You can see at the moment But NiP, again, content to keep the pace quite slow, something that is a little bit unfamiliar for these guys in terms of their professional career. But at the moment, they're making it work for them. They do now have control of Connector, and as two more members, I think it is Exist and Pith, move their way up through toilets. They now have mid control as well. So a lot of options here for NiP, and that's great as it gets towards this crunch time.
Absolutely. NiP looking stronger as the game goes on, but definitely the work of threat here being displayed, the slow, methodical approach to NiP finally coming to fruition, you could say, and now with the addition of the counter-stratting aspect that Threat will bring to the team, they look really well prepared. They look completely at ease of what NaVi's going to be throwing at them on their defensive side, and Edward getting boosted over that sign pole. He gets spotted out, and Forrest picks up the first one onto Zeus as Zist also gets that Molotov off. Get Right will pick up Edward. Zist actually team kills Get Right there, and now Guardian and Seas double up back onto Zist and Pith. So it will be a 2 versus 2 right now. Freiburg and Forrest involved here, and Freiburg will look for this 2 versus 1. Can he make it work? He can't. Seas traveling around that crate, taking down Freiburg. So almost there for NiP, but just the grit and determination there of NaVi to hold on to that A-bomb site.
Fantastic work. They were 3 versus 5 in that sort of situation. They lost the first 2 trades. I bet you Exist is going to be a little bit remorseful about the fact they actually took down his teammate in that instance, taking out Get Right, one of the stars of this match for the team, and that was all NaVi needed, that little window of opportunity. They got back in, they held strong. Ultimately, though, they only had 1 surviving member, so it's really important for their sake that they really convert this second round as well, otherwise their economy will be in horrible shape. Zeus, you can see he had to force a mag 7, or a swag 7 in this instance, as he's pushed down the stairwell, trying to close the distance and really utilize that shotgun to full effect. And in the connector, but at the moment, NiP again playing quite far back, just waiting for NaVi to make their move.
And this is an absolutely amazing, astonishing game of CS unfolding before us. Before the game, we were talking about how outmatched NiP were and how many different positions that NaVi had the advantage in, and all these different points that was explaining to everyone exactly how NaVi would take control of the game and ultimately be too much for NiP, but you can see the caliber of the champions we're dealing with here as Flamey's actually got a ridiculously aggressive position, but Get Right is matching this tit for tat, and he's ever aware that Flamey's lurking somewhere around this, and this is a standoff of epic proportions. Who will find who here? Flamey versus Get Right versus Flamey. It's Flamey coming out and not even taking any damage at all. So that's a really big pickup there for NaVi and could have turned this round on its head.
There's no justice in the world that Get Right didn't even do a speck of damage onto Flamey there, as he had the perfect read. Great game sense there by Get Right, but ultimately the younger talent did prove to be the victor in that instance. You can see it is now a 4 versus 4. NiP moving with a little bit more haste towards the B side, and that's just time is now running out thick and fast.
Yeah, the Molotov will come in, but Flamey will get the first one there. Seas will trade onto Pith as well, but Zist will get onto Seas now. Zist will try and get that bomb down. Edward will secure the kill. Forrest should get this plant down, and he does.
No,
he doesn't. He runs out of time and gets the kill. So the round will go the way of NaVi, but will it actually help them moving forward? I'm not so sure. Look at their money. It's just as bad on both teams, and this is just about as even as you could possibly get. 11-11 on the score on both teams on 4 spies. This is a crazy close game, and NiP doing everything in their power to keep NaVi from pulling away.
Oh, that's right. It's an absolute arm wrestle at the moment. I mean, 11 all the scoreline. I think justifiably so. These rounds are so close at the moment. I love the work that Flamey put in last round with the double kill. Obviously, that kill on to Get Right early on, but also back in the side as well. Sandbaits locking it down. This time it will be NaVi a little bit more aggressive, and Guardian somehow doesn't convert. Eventually gets one with his P2K, but perhaps could have done a little bit more in that instance, given the fact that he got the drop onto 3 members of NiP. NaVi have also lost the second member there in the form of Zeus as well, who actually wasn't able to get a frag. So 3 versus 4 in this instance. NaVi need to come up with something. You can see it, all 3 members actually quite separated in this instance. Having said that, though, Cease has come to the aid of Edward.
Yes, the CT's grouping up there, but that's the difference for Guardian between having an M4 and having a FAMAS. He could have got a triple there with an M4 or maybe even an AWP, but as it stands, he'll not get any, and Get Right will get onto Seized as well. So things going very, very well here for NiP in what is the 23rd round of play. 11-11 is the score, and NiP look to just close that gap just a little bit more every single round between the two teams. They've managed to get back to 11-11, and now they're looking to inch their way forward as a 3 versus 2 unfold here. But it looks as though the A bomb site will be the attack point, and NiP rolling in there, getting the plant, and this should be a decent outcome here for NiP.
Yeah, and they still have utility grenades as well. They're now throwing them, just locking out those choke points. So the CT bank area and the stairs have now been smoked off, and really the CTs at the moment will just have to bide their time if they do decide to go for this retake. They know that GetRight has taken damage, and I think perhaps that is the key at the moment if they do decide to actually move in. So Edward and Flamey just trying to scout out an easy frag, but they're not to find one. Some superior post-plant positioning from NiP means the fact that they will actually find that first frag. Flamey just goes down. All of a sudden, Edward has no teammates to support him and tries to back off. The difficulty, unfortunately, for him now is he bolts away towards the B site with the bomb sites being so close together as he actually has to run a long, long way away to escape that bomb radius. But he should make that trek. Does so. He's losing 3 points of health. NiP again, another close round, but they pull through. NaVi actually calling a tactical pause.
Tactical pause coming out here from NaVi, and rare that we see them use it on their CT side. Most often they're quite comfortable on their CT side and playing that slow, methodical play style and getting a lot of map control. Very few teams have been able to force them into tactical timeouts on their CT side of things. But this has been the case for NiP, and I can't stress enough the effort that the NiP players have put forward here in learning exactly how NaVi are playing overpass. They're known for being such a great overpass team, and so much credit has to go to Threat and the work he's put in for preparing this team to play this match. And this no longer seems like, originally when overpass came out of the map pool, we were both very skeptical and almost dismissive of NiP's chances, but you can now see that they've left this map in there on purpose, daring NaVi to choose it because they've got a little bit something up their sleeve.
What I love is the way that NiP in particular on the T side have orchestrated those rounds. They've actually tended to go towards the A site more often than not, and they've had so much success. A site can normally be a menacing threat because Guardian is one of the members that locks down A with that AWP in hand, but they've done a fantastic job of really keeping that AWP out of his hands by virtue of not allowing NaVi to build up that bank, and they've done a great job of taking their time, clearing out the connector, clearing out toilets, and then splitting onto the A site from both long and mid. Sometimes you see teams fall into the trap of being a little bit too over-reliant on taking one or the other choke point, but NiP are doing a good job at the moment of exerting pressure across all different choke points across the map and then executing with force late on the shot clock.
Well, as you said, NiP are doing their best NaVi impression at the moment. So,
but they're doing it even better. They're up 12-11.
They're doing it better than NaVi's doing it right now, and they look the goods. They look like they're completely organised, and they're using their teamwork well to get into particularly this A bomb site a number of times. They've looked as though they can't quite get in, and losing a couple of kills maybe early on, but then finding ways to make it work into that A bomb site and really trading well. So Forest and GetRight obviously the key components here for NiP, but everyone putting in a decent showing here. Piff lagging a little bit behind, but he's right there with Zisk and Freiburg, so there's nothing wrong with his contribution right now as long as the team continues to win. It will be off the back of Forest and GetRight anyway, but NaVi here look to maybe force the issue, maybe not. The game's unpaused, and we will get the 24th round of action underway. NiP surprisingly ahead, 12-11. But we shouldn't be too surprised given that Forest and GetRight are doing their thing.
Well, I think surprisingly, I guess, given the environment that this match was getting played in, the circumstances leading into this match, but definitely the way that they played, they deserve to be in front at the moment. I think 12-11, NaVi just clinging on for dear life. They are on eco in this round. They're stacking towards the B side, perhaps gambling on the fact that NiP will head in that direction, and rightfully so, they are. But they've actually headed towards the monster canal, so as they bust out here, they will catch NaVi off guard. They've got the one. They actually spot the double stack as well, so whilst Edward does walk away with that frag, they know that 2 members of NaVi were there. They've taken down Seized. They're very wary of the presence of Edward now.
But even that, to me, just then after the tactical timeout, that looked like a counter strat for me. They walked immediately right up the monster tunnel, all the way to the very end, busted out looking immediately left it short. So even though it doesn't seem like obviously they don't know the exact strat NaVi are gonna run, but they do seem to know the tendencies of which they play their ecos. They clearly know that they don't play a high percentage of their eco rounds at Monster. So they've chosen to take that direction and really maximize its potential.
The other thing that NaVi have showed us in this match in particular, and obviously in previous matches during those tendencies that you speak of, again, they stacked aside on eco. Last time we saw them pushing towards A, towards the mountain area. This time was through the sandbags, but I think perhaps NiP recognizing that if they head Monster, it allows them that opportunity to take perhaps those longer range duels with the fact that the canal itself is quite long and expansive. So it was a safer option had NaVi again opted to stack a site. Worked out well for them in this instance, and NaVi now are in a situation where they must win this round. Again though, their starved player finds himself with the FAMAS in hand. Guardian, we said that at the very least you want an M4, if not an AWP, but at the moment he's having to make do. Sometimes we're quite critical of teams not giving their best player the best weapons, even if it means sacrificing that weapon for yourself. But at the moment, Guardian will have to make do with this FAMAS. We'll back off now for the back of that early aggression actually coming in from NiP, but we can see it was all a bit of a facade. NiP not actually intent on charging through that smoke, just on making some noise.
They have scared off NaVi right back to the bomb site though, apart from Zeus. He'll make his way sort of, it is close enough to the bomb site there to be considered part of the bomb site. He's a little bit advanced at that long A section, but nevertheless, he's not pushed out too far. He's still within help's range from his teammates, and NiP will slowly work this map over and make sure they don't give anything away at all. They'll know that NaVi are going to be buying this one, and they know they're going to be short-handed slightly. You can see the equipment advantage well in the favor of NiP, and this really gears them towards a late round execution, and it's going to be hard for NaVi to stop this one if they let it occur. And
this round setup at the moment that we're seeing from NiP, this is where they've had so much success, where they take their time, they move up towards A in unison. So you can see again 2 members moving up long this time, 3 moving up mid, and Zeus looks to take that battle. Actually should hear those footsteps as well, and does catch Forrest off guard there, who wasn't expecting Zeus to be playing at such close range, perhaps expecting him to be further back in the site. And could that be the opening that NaVi do need? It will be Pith trying to take charge here, but the smokes at the moment halting their progress, but time is running out.
Time is running out, only 24 seconds left on the clock. 9 members left, all on almost full health, so this is going to be an absolutely hectic at last 18 seconds of this round as the clock ticks further and further towards 0. What are NiP doing? 12 seconds to go, and they haven't even bothered to come inside, but the play has worked. They've completely hoodwinked NaVi into thinking that the hit was going to come to be due to the late nature of that push. So brilliant individual play there from Threat, just holding his forces back to the very, very last second and forcing NaVi into a crazy retake. It's 4 versus 5, and Get Right should open up, but Guardian gets 1 kill. Pith looks away. Can he get one? He does. Zist spotting that line there. It's all back and forth here. Eventually it's left on Freiburg. He's just got 1 left. He gets a double there. Freiburg, but who's on the bomb? He hasn't been spotted at Seas. Does get the kill, and he will get the defuse.
Oh.
What a crazy round unfolding there. NiP fully selling the late B hit. NaVi completely emptying out on the A side before needing to rush back in and claim it for themselves. Brilliant round of CS action, and that's why we watch such great players play this game.
An incredible game of chicken there coming in at the A side. It was actually Freiburg. He was the man who fell back very late in that round towards the B side, and one man trying to tell a story that an army was headed towards B, when in fact it was just Freiburg on his own. And in the end, NaVi, I guess so antsy, they rotated banking on the fact that the time was running so low that it must be a B attack. But in the end, you saw NiP moving on to that A side with force, getting the bomb down at the last second, but despite some heroics from Freiburg, not able to win out.
But this doesn't count NiP out, because they'll be very, very happy with the fact that they got 4 kills that round, and NaVi's economy is once again stalled. If they can just get 1 more round, and if it's this round, NiP move closer and closer towards victory.
Oh, this is crucial though. This time you can see 3 members of NiP have actually moved up long, almost undetected until the last moment here. So trying to catch NaVi off guard, and they found 2 frags out of it, but they've also lost 3 team members. So the trade's not going their way. Zeus will actually connect onto Pith. Can he get the last? He does. A triple for Zeus there. Fantastic work by NaVi. They're not willing to die yet. It's 13 all on the scoreboard. The tournament hopes of both teams rest on this match outcome here, and you can see how much it means to these players. NaVi in particular, they're known and renowned for being such a loud, energetic team, and you can be guaranteed that they would be going off at the moment, pumping each other up, desperate to get this win.
Well, they'd be desperate to get the win, but nowhere near as desperate as NiP, who went down 16-14 in their previous matchup against Fnatic with such a phenomenal effort there. JW defusing with 1 HP remaining, and of course we need to let everybody know that there is no overtime played in this section of the tournament. It is going to be a draw if that is what is required, but at the moment NaVi in such great position to take this one to at least 15. NiP forcing up here.
Look at the positioning though of Zeus. If we can look at the map overlay at the moment, he's actually pushed all the way up long. Whilst he hasn't actually found anyone, that in of itself is so much information. It's allowing NaVi to stack 4 members towards the B-bomb site. They're loading up on the direction that NiP are heading. And I love the fact that from Zeus, he's not actually pushing through. He's playing so smart right now by actually holding where he is. That's worth more to his team than pushing through, trying to go huge with some frags.
Yeah, he will control that whole side of the map from that advantageous position he's found himself in. So reward for effort there for Zeus, pushing early on in the round, taking advantage of what NiP were able to give them there. But slowly but surely, NiP will make their way towards the B side of things. But as we've so obviously elocuted, NaVi will be ready, willing, and able to defend this eco push from NiP. It should be just a matter of just kills coming out here. Guardian picks up 1. Who else will benefit from the shooting gallery? Guardian gets a 2nd. NiP do get 2 kills before seized. And his teammate will finish off the last kill. Flamey contributing their half the kill. Seized finishing it off. And NaVi go 14-13 up.
The mindset of Zeus in that instance, to have the confidence and I guess take that gamble to push up long. He was isolated. If he was swarmed, he would have lost that M4A4, potentially, or M4A1S I should say. Potentially that could have cost his team down the track in that round had the terrorists recovered that. But by pushing up, gathering so much information for his team, he gifted that round to NaVi. They now pull ahead 14-13. The captain taking it on his shoulders there with great success.
It will be a fantastic battle of attrition here that will last the entire game. Guardian able to pick up 1 and then a 2nd one in brilliant, spectacular fashion. Look at the aggression he's pushed through. I don't know how he missed that one. It looked as though it went straight through, but the movement there of Guardian and the unbridled aggression will mean that NaVi will take a 1-kill lead into the halfway point in this round. But look at the spray there from Zeus taking down Freiburg, and now it's a 4 versus 2, and NiP got so very close to being able to capture a win, but it looks as though they're fading away right at the last moment.
Oh, things are getting a little bit nasty in the server at the moment. A monster play there by Guardian. Unlucky not to get the 3rd. It looked as though it went straight through him for me, but just as importantly, almost that kill from Zeus. I think Freiburg actually caught them off guard in the connector, but that, I guess, reaction from Zeus to swivel on the spot, get his crosshair on the head of Adam Freiburg in that instance and take him down. Great work here. You can see, obviously, the 2 stars of the team. We said so much of their hopes and chances of success tonight in this particular match rested on their shoulders. They have a lot to do here in a 2-on-4.
Yeah, and with 30 seconds to go, Forrest and Get Right, who could paint a better picture? That's an excellent Molotov, although it has gone a little too deep, and Get Right will get that bomb down as Forrest moves back towards that middle area of the map. And look at this flash there from Get Right. He's dropped all the way down. I'm not even sure any of the players have seen him. Get Right's gone completely unnoticed as he's flashed through the smoke, and he'll come up behind. Brilliant play here from Get Right. Look at the patience. Look at the skill level here, just biding his time. Brilliant play here from Get Right, and looks as though Forrest and his teammate Get Right will be able to secure this 4 versus 2 situation. Can he go down? He does! Zeus manages to pick up the kill, and he will get the defuse. All the good work of NiP goes slowly but surely down with the timer, and I mean, heartbreaking stuff here for NiP. 2 rounds in a row. It's come down to Freiburg with that clutch and the defuse, and also that one there from Get Right. So, heart in mouth circumstances.
Just that play though, I mean, he actually flashed himself. I don't think intentionally. I think he was trying to turn away obviously, but mistimed it, but fell down the stairs, and for a moment there it looked as though Get Right was about to pull off something magical. Again, we spoke about that chemistry between Get Right and Forrest, and so close there of actually pulling out something incredible to watch. Not to be. NaVi now pull ahead, 15 rounds on the board. Obviously NiP investing everything they can into this round, but not much in the way of utility at the moment. Just 1 smoke, 3 flash grenades, and a Zeus.
And a Zeus. Oh, now there's a Zeus on both teams.
That's right.
That's okay, but Guardian will have that AWP, and this could be the difference between NiP getting that 14th round, moving towards overtime, and NaVi securing victory. The utility is well in the favor of the counter-terrorists at the moment, and with that AWP in hand, it's just a matter of time, you'd think, for NaVi being able to close out this one.
That's right, and situation or status quo, as is for NiP at the moment, slowly moving their way towards A. Guardian, though, will find that first frag. So Forrest, one of the two danger men in particular in this match, has now been taken down. So advantage to the Ukrainian team. It almost forces the hand here with 40 seconds left as NiP now try and force their way through, but Zeus playing at close range. Last time he was caught off guard with the flash. Will he be prepared this time?
Yeah, they won't throw the flash because I don't think they have the right setting, but it will be Guardian opening up that one there. It will be NaVi looking to win this map. It's a 4 versus 2. Guardian continues to fire that ult, but Zist finds Guardian over the top of the box. The grenade finds its mark. Edward picks up one. Flamey picks up a second kill there. It's all over, bar the shouting. And NaVi have taken that one 16-13 from NiP. What a blockbuster game we saw there from those two high caliber teams. And let's face reality here. NiP put up a way better performance than either of us were expecting, and I'm sure the fans at home are very pleased with the Counter-Strike action we just witnessed.
I'm glad you went to that point first, because that was by far and away for me the best match of Counter-Strike, which we've had the privilege of casting here today on day one of IEM Katowice. NiP performed out of their skins. I mean, we said that they were walking into the lion's den. This is a team that's only been together now for 2 months. Come into this tournament, they'd played 11 maps of competition, and they had the nerve, the gall to, I guess, fight NaVi on what is one of their best maps on Overpass. They started out on what was their CT side, but again, had some success, but really went into the half with only an 8-7 lead, and I think in the scoreline, 7 T rounds is normally quite good, so a fantastic display there by the Swedish team. Unfortunately for them, they fell short, but what a match of Counter-Strike. Some great plays.
Oh, my goodness. The NiP magic almost came to fruition. The witches and wizards of the world were standing up in unison and trying to get them over the line, but those two crucial 1 versus 1s, if either one of those had gone the way of NiP, we could have seen them take out this match or at least get the draw. It was literally a matter of less than 50 health both times. This map came down to 2 rounds where less than 50 health was separating the two teams. So you couldn't ask for a better match. Fantastic showing from the NiP players, the NiP players. They've done such a fantastic job of, I guess, putting themselves through the paces of learning the strategy, but also they've clearly dedicated themselves to learning the opposition strategies as well, which is something that they hadn't really done for a long time. They'd taken for granted learning the strategies of opposition teams and really focusing what they did around what their opposition was doing as well. And this is something is evident that threats brought to the table, and they looked like a much better NiP outfit than we've seen recently. Most
certainly. I know we were quite critical early on in the day. They were a little bit lackluster in their performance against Mousesport, but what we've seen from them in the last 2 matches, obviously going 16-14, losing against Fnatic on Inferno, and then pushing NaVi to the brink as well, ultimately going down 13-60 on Overpass. Really promising signs there from NiP, and it was some fantastic Counter-Strike to watch. I know that both myself and yourself, Pete, were really privileged to have this opportunity.
Absolutely.
I think it's only fair that we give a shout out to the sponsors, because they're the ones who have made this event possible. This is what is now the World Championships here for Season 10 of IEM. So privileged to be bringing this here to you. So we've got to thank, obviously, the likes of Intel, Zowie, HyperX, Gigabyte, G2A. Of course, let's not forget some of our premium sponsors as well, who have really helped us out in bringing you this event. So I think you have to look at plays.tv. But there's certainly been some highlights there that you'd want to be sharing on Reddit and social media. There's some fantastic clutches and nail-biting moments. But with plays.tv, you can obviously create, edit, and share on a global stage. Some fantastic moments here from IEM Katowice. You can find that at plays.tv/Chrome. And of course, let's also give mention to the sports, or the Score Esports, who are your go-to destination for CSGO scoring, news, and stats. So download that app. Stay tuned with those guys. Obviously, there's still 3 more days to come here in IEM Katowice. I also think they do provide, and I know that they do provide content for other games as well. So with obviously some of the other matches here that are on display at IEM Katowice, definitely download that app and stay tuned with those guys. But that might do us. We might take a quick break here. Don't worry, we still have some more fantastic Counter-Strike action coming your way. I think next up we've got Fnatic, the #1 team in the world, up against Mongols. Fnatic obviously having won the last 5 tournaments in a row, in a hot streak at the moment. So I think that match will be an absolute blockbuster. But of course, I've been your host, Pete Haynor. I've been joined here by the one and only PDG, the blunder from down under.
I'm not the blunder from down under.
Well, that's how I see it. But in any case, it's been a privilege bringing you this match, and look forward to some more Counter-Strike. We'll be back shortly.